you were supposed to be on the plane. How real is that?
That's about it. It's about as real as it gets.
You know, Alan's passing was a tough moment for everybody in NASCAR. That was a really difficult stretch with everything going on with the Allison family.
Right.
And I know this is a very emotional thing for you, and I don't want to make this difficult. But you know what? I guess in researching this in our notes, you were supposed to be on the plane.
Right.
How? Go ahead. How real is that?
That's about it. It's about as real as it gets. Sorry. It's about as real as it gets. You know, we were I think Darlington was the last race we ran.
Yeah.
Pit stops were okay. They weren't great. And I think that was a year where we went to 2 impacts. I think instead of 3, because we used to have 3 impacts, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we decided as a group. So I guess what started was Alan had to do this appearance in Knoxville, and Bristol's not very far away, right? So we decided, and that was our plane. That was part of one of the perks was to fly to the races. You know, that was a Hooters plane. Hooters owned it. That was part of their compensation package for for '93, and so we decided as a group, as a pit crew group, to go ahead and just hang back. We're going to get there late anyway and do pit stop practice. We had one guy coming from Virginia, Joe, who came from Virginia, and he couldn't get there early enough for us to pit practice and make the plane. So, yeah, I said it's about as real as it gets. So, yeah, we decided to.
Yeah. Do you, since that's happened, had you talked to anyone about your memories of that?
Probably so. That was, we drove, of course, and no cell phones back then. I think we might have had one or something like that, Joe. So we drove the racetrack, or drove to Bristol, drove to the motel. And as soon as we got to the motel, there's a message from Tom Roberts, which is our PR guy back then. And spotter, I think, then at the time, maybe. But anyway, Tom Roberts, hey, call me up. Something's happening, and everybody had the same message, because he'd called the motel, knew where we were staying, and that's how we got the news that something had happened. Well, the sad part about it was not really sad. It's all sad. Nobody would say that everybody perished in the plane.
Yeah.
Nobody would ever say that. Just that there's been an accident, there's been a plane crash, and Alan's plane went down. Okay, is everybody okay? Nobody would say. So finally, it was, I don't know, midnight, 1 o'clock. When they finally told us, maybe even later than that. So it was, it was a tough deal.
Yeah. I hate that that's so emotional for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I everybody handles this differently. My sister with my dad, my sister is similar to you in the same way of how she feels about Dad's passing, and I don't know. No, I didn't know that this was as emotional as it was for you, and it makes me wonder how you were able to pull it together, right? Not just for the next day, but the next year and the year after that, and you even stayed with the team. I mean, how painful that must have been, but I mean, because I'm sure that you could have done other things.
Yeah. It was tough. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But we all felt like we had a job to do.
Was there this sort of when Dad passed away, DEI motored along on this idea that we were doing it because it's what he wanted,
Right.
Or we were doing it for him, or we're seeing out his vision, right? Is that sort of some of the emotion y'all carried yourself on for a while?
I think so. And there's a couple of guys that just, they couldn't handle it. They had to leave. And it was just,
That's fine.
different people handle things differently, So I get it.
Yeah.
The people that stayed, a lot of people stayed. We felt like we were doing this for Alan and his memory and for ourselves, too, and to prove that we were, a good team, a good quality team, and we could still do it. So I think all that played in it,
Yeah. So I had Jeff Bodine on here not too long ago. He purchases the race team.
Right.
Jeff's got a storied career, has had good success. Jeff's a unique individual. My dad had a lot of run-ins with him, so I have kind of a skewed vision, opinion of him, but I don't not like the guy. I think he's a good guy. When you learn that, so I imagine a lot of this is out of your hands.
Oh yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And you have no control over about what might happen or where you get your next paycheck from or who signs it. So how did you feel about that news when you heard Jeff might be interested?
So we were involved. I was, especially, and a lot of the team was kind of kept the speed, you might say, and I was probably a little closer to it than the rest of them, but we were kind of involved every step of the way, and try to, again, just try to keep the whole group together, and as for one, and then try to be involved in who's going to purchase the team. Yeah, I had nothing to do with it, but at least I knew what was going on,
Yeah.
So we were all for Jeff, and for the candidates that are out there, he seemed to be the best one, and at the time he was winning races. He's good. Had a long-term future, he thought, a long-term plan, you might say. But, it was, I think we were all for him, really, The one thing I want to add real fast.
Sure.
This may be tough. But after Alan's, I'll get there. After Alan's passing, we're working in the shop. This is the whole time we're there. And Alan had a way of walking up behind you, and you just know he was there. But anyway, that you could feel his presence, and that feeling really never left.
Really?
There wasn't a guy that worked for Alan in that shop that didn't say that. It felt like he was still watching us.
Yeah.